Good evening and welcome to St. Luke's Episcopal Church and to this exciting opening concert celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Alston Memorial Organ. For those of you watching via live stream, a warm welcome to you as well. This evening's performance is very special. St. Luke's is delighted to welcome the Chenault Duo, concert organist Elizabeth and Raymond Chenault. When I arrived in Atlanta 3 years ago, Beth and Ray were two of the very first people to welcome me to this beautiful city and have remained close friends and supportive colleagues ever since. Ray and Beth are two musicians I hold in the highest regard. In addition to their decades performing together across the world, here locally, their impact and legacy is most fondly recalled in their association as teachers of numerous young students at the Lovett School and their unparalleled ministry at All Saints Episcopal Church. Their collective ministry at All Saints, spanning 43 years, continues to serve as meaningful inspiration to those of us in the next generation of Episcopal Church musicians. When beginning plans for this year's series celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Alston Memorial Organ, the Chenault's manager, Charles Miller of Philip Truckenbrod Artist Management, was my first call. It was impossible for me to consider anyone to open this important year of music other than Ray and Beth. Music at St. Luke's is sincerely grateful to Kathy and Richard Lee, longtime close friends, proud parents of former students at the Lovett School, and parishioners and supporters of music here at St. Luke's for their support in making this evening possible. As you can see from the Music at St. Luke's brochure outlining this year's exciting events, I hope you will consider joining us for other concerts and services as the year moves forward. In your program this evening is an opportunity for you to make an online contribution to the newly established Hodgson Organ Fund, named for Dr. Hugh Hodgson, also lovingly remembered as Dr. Hugh, St. Luke's organist and master of choristers between 1928 and 1969. Your support in helping St. Luke's curate this magnificent instrument for many years to come is appreciated and encouraged. Following this evening's performance, you are welcome to Budd Hall for a reception honoring the Chenaults. There will be an opportunity at that time to purchase several of their many fine recordings. On behalf of the vibrant worshiping community here at St. Luke's, thank you for honoring us with your presence this evening. At this time, please silence your devices and join me in welcoming the Chenault Duo.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a great pleasure to be with you tonight. We want to thank, first of all, Matt very much, Matt Brown, who's the wonderful organist choir master here, for the invitation to open up the 60th anniversary of the Austin Memorial Organ. We've had a long association with this organ. Beth and I arrived in Atlanta in 1975 as the organist and choir masters at All Saints Episcopal Church. As Matt said, we spent 43 years there. And during that time, we got to know Lee Suter, who was then the organist choir master here, Melinda Clark, who was his associate and then has followed him as well. And we played several recitals on the old Austin. So it's great to come back and play this instrument. It's been revitalized and added to, and it's just one of the best organs in the country. And our program really sounds really cool for this evening. It's got everything you'd absolutely need, the organ would need in order to do any kind of repertoire you'd ever want to. And hopefully we will showcase so many of the wonderful stops for you tonight. We're especially grateful to our good friends Kathy and Richard Lee for being sponsors of tonight's recital. Again, we have a very long relationship with them as well for many years. We taught at the Lovett School for 31 years. We taught all three of their boys there. Richard's sister is Melinda Lee Clark, who is one of the composers tonight, featured her Tango for Two. Melinda is currently the organist at Northside Drive Baptist Church, but as I said earlier, she was the organist choir master here for many years, and back in the late 70s and early 80s. So there are so many wonderful connections. We've got a lot of Lovett connections through this church, and the Austins also. We have the Austin Memorial Chapel at the Lovett School, and so there are so many wonderful connections, and tonight is just a wonderful culmination of that. And we present this recital to you with lots of love in our hearts. As you can see, we'll be playing 8 of our 70 commissioned duets. Yes, I said 70. Beth and I have been commissioning organ duets since the late 70s, and we found that there was very little repertoire, and as a husband and wife team, we really wanted to play music together, but there wasn't a lot of repertoire, so we decided to commission works. And we now have over 70, so we will present 8 of those tonight. The piece you just heard was actually premiered by us at the National American Guild of Organists Convention in Atlanta in 1992, and it was actually premiered at Melinda's church, Northside Drive Baptist Church. Hakeem is actually Lebanese by birth, but he spent a great deal of his life studying in Paris and his career in Paris. He studied with Jean Langlais, who was at Saint Clotilde. Then Hakeem later became the organist at Sacré-Cœur, and then at La Trinité in Paris, he followed Olivier Messiaen in that position. This is a fun piece, and it shows lots of great aspects of it, and it's a great. He said he wanted sort of a train effect coming out, like a big freight train at the beginning, and I think he achieved that, certainly in that opening movement. The second composer, which we're about to play, Rachel Lauren, the phenomenal Canadian composer, as you can see by her dates, she just died. Unfortunately, she just got past her 62nd birthday and died on August 13th. A great tragedy. She was a phenomenal player, a wonderful lady, and an incredible musician and composer. And Beth and I had the privilege of actually commissioning 2 duets from her. The first was the Fantasy à Deux, and then this Cantabile à Deux. And it's on our last CD that we recorded at the Cathedral of St. Philip, and they will be, as Matt said, for sale back at the reception. I hope you will take a look at that. These 2 pieces in particular are just phenomenal. And she has a beautiful lyrical style. Her melodies are very bold and beautiful. And this piece especially, I think since she's just died, I'm so glad we ended up programming it. It is very lyrical and very prayerful, and it has a nice build-up, but then it comes down into a very prayerful state, and I think it's a good way for us to communicate with Rachel, especially as the people who play her work and got to know her so well through the course of the commissions, the 2 commissions. That will be followed then by a spiritual romp for 2. Our good friend Nicholas White, who is the director of music at St. Paul's Episcopal School in Concord, New Hampshire, He was for many years the associate organist choir master at Washington National Cathedral, and he has written a couple of pieces for us, duets, both of which you see on the program tonight. But we will start in the first section with the romp, a spiritual romp. We wanted something a lot of fun, something people would know the tunes of, and he has inserted Nobody Knows, The Trouble I've Seen, Steal Away, and Deep River. Now, this piece is non-stop, and it is full of action and full of color, and you're going to hear all these themes from every which way coming at you just non-stop. It's great fun, and I think you're going to really enjoy it a lot. He also infuses it with quite a bit of jazz rhythms. So we'll continue now with the Lauren and the Nicholas White romp. Thank you very much. There's a lot going on in that piece. We will continue now with another one of Nick White's pieces, arrangements for us, based on the American folk tune Shenandoah. Beth and I are originally from Virginia. I'm from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and Beth is from the little town of Shenandoah in the Shenandoah Valley. So we thought it would be fun to get a piece arranged for organ duet based on the tune Shenandoah. Now what you'll hear is you'll hear the melody stated very forthright at the beginning, and then you'll hear this running pattern of flutes in the background, which I think represents probably the running water. And then you'll hear all these wonderful melodies coming forth, and then he throws in fun things like Strangers in the Night and Moon River. So all of those is sort of in the contrapuntal stuff, so you'll have to listen carefully. Again, there's a middle section that has all the strings coupled. It's just a wonderful section where he takes a snippet of Shenandoah and he builds it to like full strings. It's just luscious. But it's all infused with a lot of jazz idioms, because Nick White, even though he's from England and grew up in the RSCM program and is totally ensconced in the wonderful traditional Indian music, he also plays jazz in bars, and so this influence is always there, and in all of his writings, at least the two commissions that we have of him. Just a word about the art of organ duet playing. Some of you may not have seen two people play at the organ before, but you can see that neither one of us sits dead center as, say, a solo organ performer would. Beth slightly to the left, I'm to the right. We share the pedaling, although I must say Beth does the majority of it, just because of the way it's written sometimes, although in the Rochelle Lauren piece you probably saw that I had quite a few pedal things to play as well. We carefully orchestrate who turns the pages, and you can see that's an art in itself. Who hits the pistons, the stops that bring on all the combinations, and then who opens and closes the boxes to get you the louds and soft. So this is all very carefully orchestrated in order to avoid mid-air collisions. So, and of course the ensemble is the thing you need to listen for, which is great. If we're doing our jobs correctly, you might not even be aware that two people are playing. It's just like a larger orchestration available to you. Now, after Shenandoah, we will do Two to Tango, and as I said earlier, Melinda Lee Clark wrote this for us. We commissioned it, well actually the Georgia Music Teachers Association commissioned it for us to premiere at Young Harris College in Young Harris, Georgia back in 2012. It was received beautifully, and this is the third movement of a four-movement American suite. Melinda is here tonight, and we are delighted that she's here. And after we play it, I'm going to have her stand up so she can take a bow, and you can applaud her beautiful writing. It's a fun tango. It's nothing that you might not expect. It sounds like a tango, and it's great fun. And we've had a great time coming up with some unusual registrations, for which we apologize, Matt. I hope we haven't taken you too far off the Anglican track here. And then we will do our arrangement of Phantom of the Opera. It's Andrew Lloyd Webber's beautiful music, the musical. Beth and I, when we were the organist at All Saints Episcopal, we had a sabbatical. It was the third one of our third one that we had during our tenure there, and that was back in 2011. We went to France that summer, and we got to play so many of the great organs in Paris and beyond, the Cavaillé-Coll and the Clicquot organs at Notre Dame de Paris, Saint-Sulpice, Saint-Clotilde, Palace of Versailles, Chartres Cathedral, and then we of course toured the Paris Opera House. When we came back, our rector wanted us to do a show and tell program, so we did a recital with all the slides and things that we had gathered during our trip. But we didn't have a piece that would work for the Paris Opera House, so we decided to arrange our favorite musical, Phantom of the Opera. And again, it sounds like great fun on this organ, and so we hope you'll enjoy the next three pieces, Shenandoah, Two to Tango, and Phantom of the Opera. Thank you very much. The phantom is still there. Crescendo was still on. The next two pieces, Come Home, softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. I think it's in one of the Levias, maybe in the hymn book. It's not in the regular hymn book, but it's in one of those. If you want to find it, I don't know what page number it is. Maybe someone can call it out. I forgot to look it up, but it's softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. And if you'd like to follow along with the lyrics, you might find it. Has anyone found the number yet? Okay, but it's in there. I think it's in one of those companion hymnals in there. Charlie Callahan is a good friend of ours. He has written 101. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 101. Charlie Callahan has written about 12 organ duets for us, and he never fails to please. He's just incredible. He knows great harmonies, and he knows how to make people enjoy what he's writing. He was at Church of the Epiphany in Washington, D.C. for many years, also at Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida, and now he is in Orwell, Vermont, where he composes full-time and he plays recitals. An incredible musician and has given so much to the body of music, especially organ duets, really one of the first. And this is such a beautiful piece. It's actually one of our favorite pieces that we grew up with, Beth and I did, and our parents really loved this hymn, and so we thought this would be a lovely one to set as well, in contrast to some of the other highbrow pieces like the first some that we played on the recital to give it a little more audience appeal. So I think you'll find this just beautifully written and set and sounds luscious on this organ. And then we'll end with David Briggs. David Briggs is a British composer, but he has spent quite a few of his years, most recently, especially in the United States. He was originally at Gloucester Cathedral. He was master and organist of the choristers there in England, Gloucester Cathedral, England. We got to know him when he came through. We commissioned some pieces, then he came through Atlanta, and we actually had his choir sing at All Saints Episcopal and got to know him then. Loved his music, and he's had quite a career. He's an incredible organist, one of the best you'll ever hear. He also is an incredible improviser, and he loves the music, especially of Pierre Cochereau, who was for many, many years the great organist of Notre Dame de Paris. And so a lot of his music is written in the French style. This is a great set of variations, and you can see the very contrasting. They're not long, they're rather short, in fact. And it shows the organ to great variety here. And it's based on the Pentecost Gregorian chant, "Come Holy Ghost, our souls inspire, lighten with celestial fire." And before we play the last two pieces, we again want to thank Matt Brown and all of you wonderful people at St. Luke's for hosting us and for putting on such a beautiful evening. We look forward to the reception and meeting all of you there. And we also, again, want to thank our sponsors, Kathy and Richard Lee, and we want to thank Melinda Clark for being here with her wonderful piece as well. We'll continue now with Come Home and Veni Creator Spiritus.